In the closing days of the war between the states, with defeat standing before me, this Southerner considered a decision between love and treasure, and while I opted for both over the one, my plans were interrupted by a great national conspiracy that pulled me toward its center. 'Twas intrigue and treachery on a grand scale, a scheme that threatened to swallow my life, and had the Yankee government ever penetrated its inner workings, a host of men across the country, myself included, would not have lived to recount any story, much less me with the following narrative in hand. What follows is an account explaining how I joined a certain secret society working toward causes I now see as beyond dubious, and how my activities on behalf of the cabal and associations I made within it provided me a ringside seat to one of the greatest conspiracies in the history of the United States. I stood beside General Stand Watie near Dokesville, Indian Territory, on June 23, 1865, as he handed his sword to Federal officers, an act making him the last Confederate general to surrender to Northern forces, some 2 months after Lee's surrender at Appomattox. I watched painfully as the bravest man I had ever known gave up the good fight for reasons far outside his control and to men far his lesser. At that moment, I determined to return to New Orleans, the city of my birth, to meet one of the most beautiful ladies in the South, and certainly one of the most cunning, and then collect a treasure cache as rightly mine as anyone's. Those thoughts, while pleasant, served as only a partial remedy for the pain of the moment. You'll trust that I shall divulge the details of the lady, the treasure, and assorted matters of national historical importance in due course. The war began for me, Drouet Broussard, Confederate scout, spy, and courier, shortly after those peoples comprising what is known as the 5 civilized tribes of Indian Territory, the Cherokees, Choctaws, Chickasaws, Creeks, and Seminoles, officially allied with the Confederacy in an agreement brokered by noted attorney, writer, Freemason, and Confederate General Albert Pike. Albert Pike. Remember the name, for the tentacles of him and several others spread far and wide before, during, and after the Great War. At the war's beginning, each of those tribes severed ties with the United States government and commenced a course with the Confederacy, an honorable, yet albeit mistaken decision when considered in hindsight. After the war, the victorious Yankees chose to use these tribes' allegiance with the South as a reason to strip them of political autonomy and render them dependent upon the government in Washington City for protection and sustenance. I wish Pike had failed in negotiating the alliance. Had he fallen short, we would see those tribes comprising 5 distinct and fairly autonomous nations in that region of Oklahoma today. While few of us pondered these questions in April of 1861, when the guns of war first boomed, I am forever honored knowing I fought beside such warriors, especially those who fought under my friend, the Indian swamp fox, General Watie, a man who showed me the meaning of courage, honor, and tenacity.